Well, hello everyone. Seeing as how July is now upon us, and we are now 10 days away from the reboot of Superman, which is still our most anticipated film of the summer, thought I would go back a bit and give my thoughts on an earlier outing from James Gunn, where he actually managed to deliver a deconstructed parody of the whole superhero genre among many such films that come out of the early 2010s, and one of the best examples of such. So let's open up his outing for IFC Films, simply entitled Super. The story centers around a man played by Rainn Wilson, and whose recovering addict wife, played by Liv Tyler, is kidnapped by a local substance dealing crime kingpin like Kevin Bacon, as well as his posse, who are also made up of a lot of James Gunn's regulars, including Michael Rooker, his brother Sean Gunn, and and, and under the advice of a local comic store employee played by Elliot Page, who was still known as Ellen at the time, takes up a self-styled superhero known as the Crimson Bolt, who has a very flashy red suit and a very unconventional approach to fighting crime, taking down dealers and diddlers with a wrench. And as you might expect, all does not go smoothly. While the film was not a huge hit, grossing back like only about $440,000 worldwide on a $2.5 million budget, so actually a bit less than I initially thought when researching this video. Oh, I can attribute a lot of that to being screened in less than 100 theaters. It did find its audience at home, and definitely among the movies that has been made a cult following among James's filmography. And it's always been interesting to me to see directors more modestly budgeted early works before they get hundreds of millions of dollars from like decent Marvel to who make movies. And definitely still interesting how the DNA of this movie is still present in subsequent comic efforts. I mean, it's most noticeable to me in 2021's The Suicide Squad, which is still one of my top 3 favorite DC EU films, by the way. Hey, as well as the Peacemaker event, looking forward to the second season of that. At, at, but I definitely can tell that his skill is like a horror filmmaker when he's working at Trauma is present here. And it's effective deconstructive parody of a whole idea is still there. So not every deconstruction is serious. Here is sometimes all the stereo element and character elements you end up taking apart to poke the they don't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, the fact that no one seems to put two and two together, or even when and they quite literally saw his behind changing the backseat of his car. Or I mean, and the fact that even though there have been reports about people being kidnapped and being given injections and in between their toes, they still need to have more evidence against someone to build a case, which understandable, but still, he'll admittedly doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it. But that's the whole thing. The way that James did it, directing the screenplay he also wrote, and also all of the crew that will become frequent collaborators of his on this movie, it definitely still fascinating to me. I mean, of course, I did not see it theatrically when it came out. In fact, I wasn't even aware it was even existed until after I came home. Um, but I'm glad to see it was another one that's able to find its audience, because sometimes it takes a bit to find some legs. Like I said before, I'm not interested in playing the blame game, and as I've said in other places, like, not every bad film was a flop, not every flop film was bad. And it definitely will be interesting to see how going from this to drawing up from the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and now Superman. I also like how, again, and no matter how weird the outfit is, that Nathan Fillion and is they find a way to make it look good. I mean, whether it's like the Guy Gardner Green Lantern, completely the comic accurate Mo Harris style haircut, to the he can't be a religious hero he finds on a Christian TV show. Basically, think the infamous Bible Man, but way cheesier if you can believe that. And that really means a lot given how I have someone in hindsight who called him like a biblical, quote unquote, common writer, more or less. I mean, of course, your armor guard is not complete with what's basically a lightsaber, but only tweaked just enough so you won't get sued by Lucasfilm, now subsidiary of Buena Vista Entertainment, so there's that. Though the film may not be currently streaming anywhere for free, it is fairly easy to find to rent it on Google Play, Apple TV, and in my case on Prime, which even on sale as an early Prime Day deal. And it definitely was worth the $3.59 I paid for this version. I mean, so I definitely think it's another one I recommend checking out before the new movie comes out. And with that in mind, I'm hard at work on my look at the Richard Donner Superman 2. I'm also working on the Quarantine Task Force script as well. So regardless of when they actually say my next round of dentistry is, I intend to have both of those scripts done, and I'm most likely out before I get more stuff pulled out. I mean, I'm leaning towards finishing Superman first, even though I have less to do with Manchester 4. But this week, I'll definitely have stuff related to Jurassic World, its latest sequel, which, despite some discourse over the story, has run plays for its effective action, the heist and horror elements, and of course the new cast. I definitely have a couple things in mind that I want to talk about this month. You also have to wait and see what they are, though. That'll be all for now. See you all again soon, so take care, everyone. And shut up, crime.